Infrastructure is crumbling and the problems are only getting worse. The pressure to find solutions is hot. Let's talk about why American cities have no water, no electricity, and no money to fix their infrastructure problems. Welcome to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast, hosted by Chad Smeltzer.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast. My name is Chad Smeltzer. I am your host. Today's guest is Steven Hernandez, who is with the Jurupa Community Services District. Is that right, Steven? Did I say it right?
You nailed it, man. Thank you.
Whew, man. These names are sometimes rough. I appreciate you joining me, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for the invite. I know we spoke a couple times, and glad to be here. I know we had to change some schedules around, but we made it.
Yeah, we did. We did. Now, you're the Utility Superintendent, correct?
Correct. Overseeing water distribution and wastewater collections.
Nice. And you have previous experience in other cities. It looks like 12 years at, I didn't get to see, what city were you at for 12 years?
Yeah. So prior to that, we want to start chronologically. We'll start at the beginning and work my way to where I'm at. Or
Sure, let's do that. That sounds good.
Yeah, so started in the industry when I was 20 years old. Had a couple of uncles that pulled some nepotism for me at City of Pomona. Got me in over there and spent 5 years on the front line, pulling well pumps out of the ground, doing reservoir maintenance, doing pipeline maintenance, and kind of moved my way up through the organization through college courses and state exams. So we have to be certified as an operator to work in drinking water systems. So did that and moved over to treatment, and we had some groundwater issues that we're challenged with. So got to get some cool experience in the water treatment side of things. After the 5 years there, went to Three Valleys Municipal Water District, which was a 25 million gallon a day conventional surface water treatment plant. Working around the clock, different shifts each week
Oh,
for 3 years. Yeah, it was a week of swing, week of days, week of gray, week of days, and then the fourth weekend you did a 48-hour shift and you slept at the plant. You were the only person there for the 2 days, but that covered the fifth week. So every fifth
yeah.
week you had a week off, so wasn't too bad. But yeah, so after that, um, my eldest son was going through asthma, and they said that the air quality was just not a good fit for him. And so it was
Okay.
American Lung Association Clean Air Counties. Santa Cruz County came up, which was 6 hours north along the Central Coast, California coast. And
Yeah.
a month and a half later, I moved the family up there, got a job up there as a water operations supervisor for the city of Watsonville.
Okay.
And yeah, spent 12 years there. Um, Went through some personal setbacks, a divorce a few years after that, and so I kind of had to dig a little deeper into my career because that was the good thing that was going for me in my life, and
Yeah.
started a pipeline program replacement program there. Did a 2 miles per year for it was a disadvantaged community, and
Hmm.
we just did that with our own city staff and turned those pipeline projects into road rehabilitation programs as well. And so once we would replace the pipelines, we would also rehab the streets, repave them, and everything, which was
Yeah.
really cool. Was there 12 years, and then relocating down to Southern California to be closer to my sons again
Uh,
was the goal, and I did that 2 years ago. Got a job at Jurupa Community Services District as a utility superintendent. So been there 2 years now. So a lot of
awesome.
details, but that's the short story.
That that's a
Yeah,
history for sure. That's
yeah, man.
it's a great history of your experiences in the industry and what you've learned a lot since you started 20 years of age. That's amazing. I got you
Personally
beat
and
a little bit.
professionally.
Yeah, I got you beat a little bit at 15, but when I started in summertime help. But
Yep,
yeah,
same here.
it's one of those things where it's a great career. Did you start too when you were young?
Yeah, I was actually a summer hire for Las Vegas Valley Water District. That's where I grew up in
Okay,
Vegas. I did that $6 an hour back in like 99, 98, something like that. So
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
where I got my
That,
first taste of the water industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I was painting curbs and stuff like that. I tell people this all the time in all the episodes. I was like, this job's terrible, so I never wanted to go back to public works again.
Right.
Ended up getting back into sewers later, but that's a whole different story. But man, I had no ambition to get it back into sewer or infrastructure, nothing like that. And here I am doing infrastructure
Yeah.
podcasts now with you.
Well, it's easier to
Yeah,
talk about it than to be out there in the front line.
it's true. I do not want to be in a sludge tank, pushing
Yeah.
sludge, digging holes, knock down in manholes, in grease traps, things like that. The grossest jobs possible out there. It's
Right.
not something I like to do anymore. But
Yeah.
you and I could talk about it because we've moved our way up and we've learned a lot, and now we're in managing positions, which is
Yeah.
where you want to be.
Right.
Um,
How did you get into it? Was your father in the trades, or did you have someone in the trades that was kind of pointing you in that direction?
yeah, my dad, he was at a small town in Pennsylvania. He ran a wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
So summertime help, obviously, age 15. They were like, "Yep, come help us mow the
Yeah.
lawns, paint the curbs, drive around, pick up debris, stuff like that."
Yeah. How
It
cool. How cool.
was, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good experience back then. I was like,
Yeah.
I like mowing. That was it. I was like, yeah, I can
Right.
just get on the mower and mow the grass. That's easy. Painting curbs, I
We
did
have
not like.
very similar.
What's that?
I said it sounds like we have very similar upbringings.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, but here we are. So, what was one of the biggest challenges you faced in your career so far?
Um, that's a good question. um, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know anything.
Okay, that's a
And it's just
good answer.
constantly, it's just constantly learning has been challenging. Every time you think that you've got it down, and you've got people down, or you've got budget stuff down, or the technologies that support us doing our jobs down, like something changes, or it shifts, or it advances faster than your agency can keep up with, or just our workforce. People are There's different mentalities 22 years after I started. I
Yeah,
started in the industry, and you were paid to work and not to think, and that was what they said.
yeah,
And now I have someone that's put in their 2 weeks notice because we work too hard and wants to go somewhere laterally to make the same amount of money and work less ultimately. Um,
wow,
it's just like I've never heard of that before. Um,
right.
I think the pandemic maybe put some things into perspective, and family and life and what people value a little
Yeah,
differently than what it was in the past. But I mean, for people to say like I want to work less hard, like same amount of hours, but they in the same field, same stuff. It's just they don't want to work as hard.
yeah.
Uh, it's crazy. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, is just trying to keep up with everything and how it's evolving on all
Hmm.
aspects. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the labor shortages right now, paying pay rates increasing on the private sector, right, and everything,
Mhm.
inflation's driving that quickly.
Mhm.
Private sector, we got to pay higher wages to offset some of the inflation. It's driving the industry where employees who just have the ability to go wherever they want. I mean, we do.
Right.
You can pick and choose kind of where you want to go, and
Yeah.
the highest pay rate is what you're going to go after.
Right.
And then if it's an easier job, even better, right? So it's a no
Yeah.
brainer. It's just a
It,
real competitive market right now.
it really is, especially with like the water industry getting your state certification or any kind of educational credentials. All these different opportunities start to open up, and here in California too, the higher certifications you get, an employer can reach out to the state and get a list of all the operators that have a certain level of certification, and then they can throw out like the recruitment flyers and stuff like that. So yeah, people are, and there's signing bonuses for some of these operator jobs, and it's just some crazy stuff you see these days. That again, before it was just like you had to go knock on doors, or just turn in applications, and it was
Yeah,
just different. Yeah, it's different.
that's what everyone's saying. All the public works directors, utility superintendents I interview, it's like, man, we can't even get applicants. We don't get 5 or 10. We used to get 30, 40, 50, 100.
Yeah,
Now we get nothing,
right.
nobody hardly. wanting to do public work. What is the hourly rate in California for an operator? Just curious.
So entry level person that comes in that is working in the distribution side or collection side at our organization, they're going to start off at about $26 an hour. Um,
Hmm.
and then they will be expected in the first 12 months to get their grade 1 water distribution certification, their collections certification, and commercial driver's license or class A commercial driver's license within 12 months. But we give all the training to them. We do all that stuff in house. I do a lot of the training for our staff. Um, so
Now,
it's
do
like
you
kind of like
realize,
going to, what's that?
Stephen?
Yeah,
Do you realize what you just said? And I'm not. It's amazing to me that we haven't figured this out. $28, right? Okay.
yeah.
You have 12 months to get all these
26,
licenses.
26,
What's that?
$26 an hour.
26 dollars. Okay, listen to this. Let's do this. Let's do the math quick. So
Yeah,
$26. I have to get my CDL, right?
yeah.
I have to get my water operator license, right? Sewer, and have all the responsible. Are you putting me in the hole digging
Yep,
trenches like fixing?
yep.
I'm doing all that too.
You're doing all
Okay,
that stuff. Yeah.
you McDonald's is paying $15 an hour right now. Seriously,
Yeah,
like
yeah. No,
businesses, right?
there's some places fast food making close to $20. Yeah,
That's nuts. Like
it
you
is.
see all that responsibility. No wonder we can't put anybody in public
Well,
works right now.
I think that shift will change, and the reason why I say that is because everyone's going to these jobs that are more technological or less labor, while our infrastructure is consistently failing. Right, every second goes by,
Yeah,
infrastructure is failing. So we're losing all these craftsmen. There's nothing in the trades or in our high school. Like when I was going to high school, there was auto shop and in wood shop or metal shop and stuff like that.
right.
Those things are all gone. And I just think that there will be a shift where it's just like, hey, we do need these craftsmen or we do need these blue collar workers to come back to the trades, and we're going to have to pay them.
Yeah,
There's no other way. Um,
nope.
so I think there will be a shift, and I think we will see it in our lifetime where the people that are out there laying pipes or fixing sewers or just making everything flow, they will be recognized as a more valuable um, position. I think,
Yeah,
and that's what we see in our organization. And I can say this because I've held every field position in the water industry. I don't have any degrees of any kind, yet I I can I feel that like the treatment side of things, the more technical side of things, is more valued, and there's an easy 30% increase in the salaries, 30 to 40% increase in the salaries just for entry level positions from treatment to someone that's being out in the field fixing water mains. Yet that person is throwing their life on the line. They're in the middle of traffic. They're working with their back
right.
their entire career. My dad was a laborer for many years, and then a heavy equipment operator in the second half of his career. Just had back surgery after retirement, arthritis and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yet, if you worked at a treatment
Yeah,
plant from 20 years old to 60 years old, you're going to be in decent shape. Um,
right.
I've always felt that um, the construction, the maintenance side of things is so undervalued. Um,
Yeah.
in all trades.
Well,
So
if you look at private sector, construction guys that are skilled labor on that side,
mhm.
they're making 50, 60, $70
Yeah,
an hour.
yeah,
Union rates typically here in Chicago, especially, are making higher than that. I mean,
mhm.
our union rates are $88 an hour or something like that, $90 an hour here around
Wow,
Chicago. It's
that's
pretty
crazy.
high.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, you look at that, and I can see where public works is just not attractive, right? I mean, you
yeah,
can go work for a private sector construction company, digging a hole and make 40, $50 an hour,
mhm,
where we're making $26 an hour in the public work side.
mhm,
So yeah, big challenges ahead for everybody there
yeah,
in the private or public sector, I should say, for sure.
right.
Wow.
That's yeah. Everyone's got to have a side hustle these days, just to
Yeah,
make
you
ends meet.
do. Well,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about your education program in a bit. But
Right on.
so, one thing, what things have you learned how to deal with your leadership, right? In bringing your problems that you deal with to light and trying to get buy-in from your leadership in the cities, that you've worked with or currently work with. How have you been able to drive that initiative to get the funding you need?
It's all about telling the story, right?
Yeah,
I think it's a matter of data. If you don't have the data to support what things cost or how much it's going to cost to replace, or what our industry trends are, or standards, if we're replacing 1 to 2% of our pipeline in our systems on an annual basis, what is that going to cost? Why are we doing
yeah,
this? If pipelines are supposed to last 100 years and we have 100 miles of pipe, we should be replacing 1 to 2 miles per year. But
right,
if pipelines aren't lasting 100 years and it's more like 70 years, and we don't have 100 miles, we have 450 miles of water and 400 miles of sewer, we should be replacing somewhere between 16 and 18 miles per year.
right,
Are we doing that? And we're not doing that. So it's like, okay, so what is it going to take? Well, we do a pipeline assessment on our water side and our sewer side. We prioritize the areas based on the likelihood of failure or age, or if it's asbestos concrete or whatever it is that we need to get rid of first, and then we budget for all that stuff accordingly,
yeah,
which is something that we're doing currently right now. We're wrapping up a sewer assessment project that we just did. So we cleaned and inspected every inch of our sewer lines, and
mhm,
so we're going to get a rap sheet of all the deficiencies in the system, and then
right,
we'll be able to prioritize and budget accordingly. So that's exciting to see on the sewer side. And on the water side, we haven't done I'm sorry, a water pipeline assessment yet, but we have created a matrix, and the matrix is based on age of pipe, style of pipe, importance to the system, main breaks or failures we've had in the last 20 years, and then layered that onto our GIS. And so then we can just say basically like, hey, these are the top 20 miles of pipe that we need to go after in the next, five
mhm,
years, whatever it is. So it's all about data. Can't make good decisions, and you can
right.
make short term or long term decisions if you don't have data. So
That's a great point. Data. Most cities still don't have asset management systems.
no,
It's
no,
amazing to me.
yeah,
Literally, I'm going to assume or guess that 60% of the municipalities throughout America probably do not have asset management systems. I think I looked at Cartograph. Cartograph's one of the bigger asset management systems, and they have
yeah,
about 1,700 cities using Cartograph.
yeah,
1,700. There's like, I don't know, 14,876 wastewater treatment plants out there.
right,
Well, I don't even know what the water distribution systems are and stuff, but I can only
yeah,
assume that there's a lot. That's only 1,700, right? I'm thinking to myself, well,
oh,
that's
yeah,
almost a lot of the market for asset
yeah.
management data. Um,
It it's I do classes all over. Like you said, we'll talk about it. I work with a lot of different agencies, and in some of the classes, I'll have multiple agencies in there. Like 20 different agencies will be represented in the 40, 50 people that would be in a class, and um, it's surprising to know that there's not like pipeline replacement projects. There's not, we're just putting band-aids on everything, um,
right,
and it's not. There's the boom is coming, right? They're making publications about the boom, the infrastructure boom, and what that is just basically the failure rate that's it's constantly
exactly,
speeding up. And if I'm in a you're working for the surrounding or the neighboring agency, and we're using the same contractors to replace our pipelines. Well, again, 50 years from now, all our pipe that's 50 years old now is going to be 100 years old, and the failure rates
right,
are going to go through the roof. We're all going to be calling the same contractors, and
right,
so that's why I'm very, very passionate about doing your own pipeline projects internally in house. You'll never get away from the contractors because you'll always need that extra support. But if
Right.
we can work on pipelines that are maybe up to 12-inch in diameter and maybe less than 10 feet deep, um, that's the bulk of it. That's like 80% of your distribution system, at least on the
Yeah.
West Coast. On the East Coast, you guys bury your pipes a lot deeper than that. But
Right.
yeah, I just think that you can work on the bread and butter of your system in regards to replacement, and then still use your contractors.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about privatization of utilities?
prioritization. Um,
Privatization, basically having a
oh,
private sector.
privatization.
Yep.
Uh,
hmm I
you
just got a
know,
question like that on LinkedIn, so I'm just curious. They're like privatize it. I'm like, okay, well that takes
I'm,
away the. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
yeah, yeah, no, it's
I guess
good.
my point is if you cut off utilities, right, that's a revenue source for the city, right? The
Yeah,
water revenue coming in,
right.
sewer revenue coming in, it's supposed to go
Yeah,
back to repairing the infrastructure, right? That's why you have
correct,
rate studies.
correct.
If you take that away from the city and privatize it, that revenue stream's gone. How are you going to get bonds?
I don't know.
It's kind of a loaded question, Steven. I
Yeah,
just was
yeah.
curious.
PD, fire, and library have to figure it out. You know, uh, parks and recs, parks and recs. They're all general funds. When you have an enterprise fund like water and sewer and garbage, man,
Yeah,
that's what carries the city. In a lot of ways.
right. If you
So
privatize it, like you sell your utilities to a private organization and you give away that revenue. I guess there might be revenue sharing there. I'm not too sure or understand it, but I'm just thinking to myself, well, you just gave away your revenue source.
yeah,
How are you
I
going to get
mean,
everything bonded? Maybe you can't get things bonded. I don't know.
yeah, so with Harupa's pretty cool because history historically, Jurupa Valley is comprised of a bunch of different little water systems, and over the years we've just kind of started consuming them. JCSD was formed in 1955 as a sewer district, and then 10 years later they started doing water as well. All the while they're just kind of consuming more land and more little communities that have their own well sites and pipelines and stuff like that. And then I want to say, I always get the dates wrong, but it's about 15, 20 years ago. City of Eastvale was created, and it's about the same size as all of Jurupa Valley in a smaller land base. So we have about 44
Yeah.
square miles of service area, service about 130,000 people through about 35,000 service connections. And Jurupa Valley is old. we have probably every style of pipe that you can think of
Okay.
on the infrastructure side, and then on Eastvale side, we have they're what do you call it? Same model style homes where everything's engineered, got same kind of main line and sewer systems throughout, and it's more modern, right? More of our
Yeah.
time is spent maintaining Eastville, the newer side, with failing poly services. Believe it or not, we
Wow.
spend we have about 350 service leaks, water service leaks a year, and I'd say about 80% of them are on the Eastville side, the newer side of town. And so, um, yeah,
$330.
that's our system.
330. So, I mean, that's what you know about, right? I mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of leaks probably that you don't
yeah.
know about, I would assume.
And the city of Eastville wants to do a paving master plan. So in the next 5 years, they're going to repave all of the streets, right? And so after that, each of the streets, all the streets are going to be moratorium streets. And so for us to repave like a patch, right, a 4x6 patch for a service leak,
Yeah.
we're going to have to use some rubberized emulsive paving material, and now that patch is like a $6,000 patch on the paving side, and then our job it only costs
Wow.
us about $1,150 to run a new service. So
That's
we're looking
crazy.
at it. We're looking at staying ahead of that paving project that they have and
You still hear
replacing.
me?
to 12,000.
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's all good.
Sounds good.
Everything was working great for 20 some minutes. We'll get another 20 minutes out of it, hopefully. So
Okay.
you were saying about the paving and a $6,000 asphalt repair before it cut
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. City of Eastvale is doing a repaving of all their streets, and we want to stay ahead of them because of the paving costs are just extremely high, and turns our $1,200 service line replacement project into a road replacement project.
Yeah,
So we're looking at replacing close to 10 to 12,000 services in the next 5 years, just to save a a huge cost on the paving side. So
right.
that's where a lot of our attention is going. We just purchased material for 2,500 services, which got approved by the board, and so we had to tell the board like, hey, this is what we have, this is what the city's got going on, and we want to stay ahead of them. We're probably going to use contractors for these 2,500 services. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that's one of our big challenges right
Now,
now.
you were talking about a patch that was $6,000 though. What was that?
So it's a slurry seal. So you do your base pave, and then on top of that you grind an overlay, and so it's just a slurry seal. But the
Okay.
city has a specification for a rubberized emulsion slurry. There's like only one manufacturer of this emulsion, and only a few contractors that can do it. And it's like 200 feet in both directions outside of the patch from curb to curb, and so
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's $6,000 for paving, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Okay.
so
Got it.
um, it's just not a normal 4x6 patch. It's kind of
Got it.
resurfacing the street, you know. But
Got it. Now,
if we do that, and then 2 weeks later we get another leak on the same street, now you're reslurring the same street multiple times, and that's not feasible. So
so a lot of the capital projects here, I know in the Midwest, is they'll look to replace a street, right? And then they'll
mm,
look at all the underground utilities first,
mm,
and then decide on what to replace or repair, underneath it before they obviously fix the road.
mm.
That makes sense, right?
Right.
Is that what you guys do too, or no?
Yeah, we definitely don't want to have to pave the street more than we have to. So we're looking at some of our sewer replacement projects. We're also looking at the water, or vice versa. And
Yeah,
if we can tie those projects in one time, then we're only disrupting the customers or residents in that area one time, only having to pave it one time as well. So it helps.
got it.
But that's a huge project too. Is having to replace the water and sewer at the same time, or one after the other. It's a lot of
Right,
planning and engineering goes into that. So and then the cost. You got to have cost for
yeah,
both, right?
right. I've seen the specs come out where they're like road reconstruction, paving,
Yeah.
replacement of manholes, replacement of sewer, replacement of water, and they put it all
Mhm.
together in one big spec,
Yeah.
and that becomes an interesting bid opportunity because then the GCs got to organize all their subs, and then
Right.
I always wondered why we just didn't separate out you know each item. Right, you're gonna put sewer pipes, if you're gonna do road reconstruction, dig it up and replace it, right? And
Yeah.
you're gonna replace all the sewer pipe. Just put out a spec for a sewer replacement, like sewer pipe replacement, just
Yeah.
water replacement, whatever. Like
Right.
they try and bundle it all together in hopes to get a cheaper price, I think, and that's not how it works at all.
Yeah. I mean, if the city acted as the GC, um, I think it'd probably save a lot of money.
Yeah,
Um,
if you organized it enough, your engineer ran it as they were the GC,
mhm.
and they said, okay, well, we want to replace the sewer, water, manholes, we want to, curbs, inlets, whatever, right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
that's itemized. You can just
Right.
itemize that. It's just about organizing it, right? And
Yeah.
having the right people put in the right infrastructure first, and then whatever's last, which is the road. The
Correct.
road at the surface, right? So I don't know. Right?
It,
It's interesting. The cities don't
that's
do that. They don't do that.
I think, man, I don't know. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I just think some leaders don't understand. Don't, or they were just never taught that way. We were always taught to build, 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 right? No one's
Yeah.
talking about maintaining or replacing. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's kind of common sense. If everything's failing and the material is not meant to last as long as, or it's not lasting as long as we planned it to be, then it's time to replace. And we need to change some of our priorities, like real
Well,
quick.
I think this is a good segue to WaterWise Pro. I think we're talking about education, right? Of
Right.
application of and learning how to be an operator in the water and sewer space, and then also contractors have an obligation to learn how to apply.
Yeah.
We're talking about life cycle of infrastructure, right? There's standardization of testing to be an applicator. ATS, what is it? What's the standardization? Americans, ATS. Shit, I can't think of it.
Yeah.
ATSM,
Yeah. HSM.
ASTM.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know someone's going to give me crap for that one. But anyway, uh, so the standardization,
Yeah.
but you have applicators who get low bid, right? They come into the city, they apply, they call up someone, an epoxy company, right? They're like,
Mm,
hey, we just won this low bid. We're going to come in and apply it. That epoxy company gives them the applicator license, right? They're like, oh yeah, you're now an applicator. You know, some of that happens, and
yeah.
how do they even know how to apply it? Like the epoxy company's just like throwing out a license. Go ahead, you're a certified applicator now. We just want the sale of the materials. We do not care. We just want to get their product in that city. And then you got this contractor go out, doesn't prep it right, sprays the epoxy, it falls off the wall in a year and a half. Done.
Right.
Now you just spent $200 a vertical foot on nothing.
Yeah. No
You know, that's the
PPEs.
yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens, though. I
Yeah. Oh
mean,
yeah.
it really is crazy.
It's true.
But we're talking about like education
Yeah.
for operators, which is what you're doing, and you've taken a passion to that. Obviously, you started WaterWise Pro. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, like I told you, I went through some personal setbacks and needed to kind of bounce back mentally, financially, emotionally. So, in in my position, I didn't want to go any higher. I didn't feel like public works director or any kind of director position was the path I wanted to go down. Plus, it just, yeah, I was happy with the level of position I had.
Right.
So I was just like, well, okay, well, maybe I'll start teaching classes, um, and in a few years, and I'll kind of get out of this rut that I'm in. And so I just took to Instagram. I figured everyone's on social media these days, and by blogging about water stuff and picking different topics, I think the first topic I did was, I want to say it was January 29th, 2016. So we're coming up on 7 years now of WaterWise Pro stuff, and it was
Yeah.
on Flint, Michigan. That was the topic that I had wrote about in the first one. But just start blogging about this water game and typical questions you'd see on state exams. And then I thought again that within a couple years I'd freshen up my skills, and public speaking was not my thing. I'm like one or two classes away from a 2-year degree, and public speaking was my kryptonite. I actually signed up for an online class and withdrew from the class because I was so scared to take the class. And so I was just like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'll do some videos on Instagram and just kind of muster the courage to do some classes. Well, within 2.5 months of blogging on Instagram, I got offered to do a class for a city down in Southern California, and it was an 8-hour water treatment exam prep course, and I just thought that was my shot. So I hustled up, put PowerPoints together, and put some study guides together, and figured out what it was going to take to get certified by the state or approved by the state to give like continuing education hours. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. So once you get your state certification, then you need to keep them renewed with their continuing education hours. And so the first class was, pardon me, but it was a shit show. I fell in love with it. A lot of people kind of gave me some, encouraging words to kind of keep going with it and stuff. And yeah, and fast forward to 6.5 years later, trained over 6,400 operators, mainly throughout California. Done a lot of work for Denver Water. Continue to do water courses for them. Um, Las Vegas Valley Water District, throughout Nevada, but
Now,
it's been a really cool ride. Came out with the
how
app.
does it work?
What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, how does it work? What's the app? That's
Uh,
so you created though. You said something about an Audible book, like
yeah,
Audible training.
yeah. So through the classes, realized that math was everyone's kryptonite, mainly because we don't use it,
Yeah,
and everything's done automatically on computers and stuff these days. So I came out with an
right,
app. It's just a calculator, right? Carpenters have their own calculator, and so
right.
I felt that water professionals needed their own as well. And so it's a free app. It's got a bunch of different formulas, conversions, and cool features to it that never seen in our industry.
Yeah,
And this year launched the first revision to it, which is the professional auditory learning. And we're all learning these days through ebooks or podcasts or just different ways that are not so traditional, like sitting in front of a computer or reading a book. And
right.
so, professional auditory learning is PAL. It is basically podcast for contact hours. And so, through the state of California, we have to have at least a minimum 1 hour to count towards continuing education to renew those licenses that these operators are getting. And so, after listening to a 1 hour podcast, the app will email a PDF certificate to the listener of their contact hour. So, um,
Awesome.
talking about infrastructure, talking about water treatment or regulatory stuff. Um, that's what we
Yeah,
have in the app, and so it's been taken off organically. I've sent out one email since April when it launched. We have about 6,200 subscribers of the app, and it's going pretty well. So
that's fantastic, man.
yeah,
That's awesome. Great
yeah,
job.
yeah. And then the other way we're
So,
training as well as 2 years ago or last year, we did the first WaterWise Pro Maintenance and Construction Expo at Silver Lakes in Norco, California. And so, yeah, the first year we had 865 attendees. This year we had 905, so just slightly more. But
yeah,
we did 2 days of training and incorporated hands-on training. So we used Jurupa Community Services District because it's the neighboring agency, and
yeah,
so we used our district and we did some hands-on training there, and actually excavated and ran a new water service, and showed these people, the attendees, some of the attendees that signed up for that workshop, how we do it, and we talked about how they do it, and everyone talks about standards, but no one talks about means and methods. And we all have the same goals in this industry. And the cool thing is, you can't take my customers, and I can't take your customers. So let's just share more information. So
right.
it's education and how to be better at our trades, but it's also like, hey, let's network more. Let's talk about what's working, what's not working.
That's
It's
what
really
everyone. That's
our
what,
philosophy.
yeah, I mean that's what we need in the industry. Is a lot more um, unif- unification. I guess
Yeah,
it's the best way to describe it. We all got to work together to get these jobs done
yeah.
when it comes to water and sewer. So, is your app available every state or just California?
It's for the continuing education hours. Each state is a little different. Outside of California,
Yeah,
we have Association of Board Certification, which is run by Water Professionals International, and they're a big supporter of WaterWise Pro, and actually going to a conference with them in a couple weeks in Florida. And I'm really trying to get them to buy in on this, on the app and the idea of continuing education for the rest of the United States. Um, so yeah, so it's just a matter of time. Like I said, it just launched in April, mainly in California, but yeah, it's just a matter of time. So
awesome.
yeah,
Way to take initiative. Way to be an entrepreneur and start. Taking the risk of starting something, right? I mean, this could go nationally. I think it's important that we talk about WaterWise Pro and get it out to different states because as operators are driving in their cars, they all need continuous education credits. This is a great way to get it. Um, and then have our trade shows where we have more education on just different technologies, services, products out there, that kind of stuff. It's just a win-win solution that you have. It's great. Good
we're
job.
only as good as the people around us, right? So
Yeah,
if we're all learning, we're all growing, then it makes for a better ending, right? So,
for sure, man. Well,
mhm.
definitely thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. This has been a great experience, Stephen, and lots of insight on what you're doing in California and what your experience has been. And you're making a big difference out there with your education, your experience, and Water Wise Pro. It's awesome.
Cool.
Excited to see where this all goes in the next year.
Right on, Chad. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the invite. It's been a lot of fun talking about myself, I guess, and infrastructure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
man,
good.
maybe we can link up again, and I can interview you, or we can do one for the Waterwise Pro podcast as well.
Certainly, yeah. Let me know when you want me to chat with you. What's a good way to get a hold of you? And then is it waterwisepro.com? Give us
Yeah,
some
so it's
information.
waterwisepro.com. The app is Waterwise Pro. It's all one word. Waterwise Pro is all one word on all the platforms: Instagram, the website, and the app. So yeah,
Awesome.
anything you need in the water sector. Like I said, we didn't really touch too much on the wastewater side of things. I'm new to the wastewater collections industry, but learning pretty quickly. And if it can help out in any way, whether you're an operator or manager, please reach out. And we're all brothers and sisters by trade, so I'm here to help out. So
Love it, Stephen. Thank you so
cool.
much for joining me.
Thanks,
We'll
Chad.
talk soon.
Appreciate it,
Happy
man.
New Year, by the
Happy New Year, man. See ya.
way. Talk soon.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast. We hope that this show brought you some insight on relevant topics within the infrastructure world. Please join us every 2 weeks on Tuesday for the next episode. If you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, please set up a 15-minute interview with your host at calendly.com/Chad Smeltzer.